Hi everyone, welcome back to SmugMug Live, episode 99. Exciting, nearly at 100. My name's Alastair Jolly, I'm your host as always here on SmugMug Live. Thank you so much wherever you are in the world today for joining me. I really appreciate it. As always, SmugMug Live is brought to you by SmugMug and Flickr. If you're looking to showcase your images to the world, have an incredible photo website, have wonderful cloud storage of all your images, or indeed have an e-commerce solution to sell your images to your clients, then check out everything we do here at smugmug.com. Or if you're looking to be part of a wonderful photo community, then please check out everything we do here at flickr.com. I'd really appreciate it if you checked out both our products. Right, I can see some of you tuning in already, so thank you for joining me. Give yourself a shout out in the chat window. Let me know what part of the world you're joining me from. I really appreciate that. And of course, you can really support what we do here on the channel by hitting that subscribe button, hitting that little bell notification. That way you'll be notified whenever we go live with another episode. And if you're enjoying the show, give it a little thumbs up. I see some of you doing that already. Thank you so much. Haven't even started, and some of you are giving me a thumbs up, really appreciate it. And of course, by doing all those things, it helps other people discover this channel. YouTube will feed our content to other people that they think will be interested, so it really supports and benefits other people within the community. Thank you so much. Morrow, thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure to see you here. Hello from Slovenia, catching up with the missed live chats. Yeah, we've been killing time since you got here. We haven't seen you for a few weeks in the chat window, so lots to catch up for. Episode 99. So if you have not watched SmugMug Live before, as I say every week, you have a lot of catching up to do. 99 episodes, many of them like this one, tips and tricks episodes, where I give you some handy tips and tricks and insights into what we do at SmugMug, and many episodes where I am joined by a wonderful guest for motivation, inspiration. Lots of wonderful people on here telling us all about their photography world. So you can go back here, right here on the YouTube channel. You'll find a playlist for SmugMug Live. You'll find all the episodes there. And there's also a separate playlist that just has the tips and tricks episodes. So if you're specifically looking for insight in how to use your SmugMug account, then check out the tips and tricks playlist here on the channel. But please also check out those episodes with wonderful guests that have joined me over the last year. Belinda, good to see you here from South Florida. Lois Child from Whitby, Ontario. Got the Canadians in the channel. Thank you for joining us. Those of you in the US, I hope you're staying cool. It's been an incredibly warm week with some insane temperatures, so hopefully everybody's doing okay. What are we going to do this week? Well, last week I started going through some of the tabs in the account settings. I think I'll finish that off this week. And of course, I want you to ask some questions. If you have any questions for me, then hopefully I can answer those. If you post those in the chat window, we will get to those as well. As I say, I might refer to some previous episodes if you ask me some questions, because we have an episode dedicated to many specific sections of our product. So, I might refer you to that, or hopefully answer your question here live on the show. Hey, Bob, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Hope things are well in New Jersey. Right, let's pop over to a site you'll all be very familiar with now, my AMG demo site. One of these days I'll change it and surprise you all that we're not using this site. But lots of things we've done on this site to demonstrate what we can do here at SmugMug. But last week we went to the account settings, and if you go right to the very top right, kind of hidden by the SmugMug Live logo at the moment, but if you head right up to the very top right of your account, you'll see your profile image there. Or maybe if you haven't added your own profile image, it will just be a little silhouette of a person up there, and then you just click on the account settings tab there, and we go into our account settings. Last week, I zoomed in there. Last week we went through the accounts and the subscriptions, of the me section, all these different parts of the me section. We went through the privacy tab and spoke about some of the things you can do right here in the privacy tab. And yeah, let's start today by talking about the discovery tab. Now, I'm going to make a little caveat today that in your account settings, there are a few legacy account settings which are throwbacks to some products features that we previously had. So I'll highlight some of those features that are no longer supported and will be removed from account settings in a future redevelopment of the account settings windows. But some of them are there supporting features that some people can still use, but new people can't use. So I'll highlight those to you today, just so that you're familiar with that. And straight away in this tab, there's one. But social sharing links. So in previous episodes, you may have seen me adding the ability to show Facebook and Twitter icons in the share menu. So when if you allow your picture to be shared, someone clicks the share button, they can share it to Facebook, to Twitter, they can send an email, they can send a link of that specific photo or gallery or folder. Well, you can turn on the ability to, or turn on and off the ability to allow people to share it to Facebook and Twitter. So this sharing section here, I have it turned on. So if I did not want people to be able to share that image to Facebook or Twitter, then I would just toggle that so that it is off. This second section, share groups, this is one of those legacy features where some people who have been with SmugMug for many years might have a share group or two that they use, and therefore they can still manage them here, but you cannot create any new share groups. Share groups were a way for people to have folders and galleries that they could share with certain people, but also have those galleries be private as well at the same time. So it was a good way to have a folder, be able to share it with people, but still control what they saw within that folder. That feature has been improved on and kind of gazumped a little bit by our privacy sharing features like private sharing and those type of things that I've covered in previous episodes, where you can allow just specific people to see certain galleries. You can obviously password protect the folder, but have public galleries within that folder. So if you allow someone into the folder, they can see the galleries or not within that folder. So share groups, I just want to point this out so that if you go to your account settings and you see share groups and you wonder, what on earth is this feature? Well, it's not a feature we support anymore in the way of making new share groups, but that manage feature is still there for some of our legacy customers who, for a long time have been using share groups, but we don't support that anymore. So just straight off the bat to let you know about that. And then there's another feature here where if you have a Bitly account, where a Bitly account allows you to create a shortened version of a big long URL. Well, if you have a Bitly Pro account, you can enter your details there, and therefore if you created a share link from our social sharing links tool, then it would automatically be shortened using your own Bitly account. So that's the sharing features tab within your account settings and discovery. And then the search tab, I think we touched on this a little bit previously, but I'll just do a little recap on that. Within the discovery and the search tab, you can enter some SEO settings in here. So you can enter homepage meta descriptions and meta keywords. So these are the type of things you would normally do on a website if you were to enter keywords and meta descriptions within the body of your code within your website. You obviously don't have access to that code with SmugMug, so you can enter them right here in these tabs, that meta description, meta keyword content that you want to enter there. And again, for complete transparency, those are not going to do a great deal for your SEO, but it is something that people still use. Google and other search engines don't put a lot of weight behind meta descriptions, meta keywords anymore, but it still can be useful to have those in there should you wish to do it. Next section is called site visibility. Let me just zoom in there a little bit. So site visibility, this is where you can control whether Google can see your SmugMug account. So whether it can actually index your pages or not. So here, because this is a demo site and it's not really a public site, it's a site that I change all the time, then I have this search visibility turned off so that search engines don't index this site, and also within search features within SmugMug itself, I have those turned off as well to make this site a complete island. Unless you're the login and the URL, you're not going to find this this site anywhere. File name keywording, again, a little toggle here just to allow SmugMug to automatically extract keywords from your file names. So if you have certain strings of information within your file name, then we'll create keywords from that. Again, that helps with SEO. Site meta title, again, this is shown in the titles and bookmarks. When someone searches your site, this can be a little summary of what your site is and who you are, that type of thing. So I haven't filled anything in here. Again, it's not been indexed, so there's no point putting anything in here, but you might want to have a little meta title for your site so that when it pops up on search, it gives that little description of what people can find at your site. And then lastly in this tab is verify site ownership. This is where you can use things like Google Webmaster Tools, etc., just to verify your site, and Pinterest also lets you do that as well. Right, next tab down is the stats tab. As stats might suggest, this is where you can find all the statistics that we share with you about your site. It's pretty self-explanatory, this one. Obviously tells you how many photo views you've had this month. So I've had 112 photos looked at on this site that isn't even public, and that's probably me and other accounts within the organization looking at this site rather than anybody outside. Again, if you hit the detail tab, you can see a bit more detailed analysis of the site. In fact, looking at some of these spikes on my stats, it's probably some of you folks going having a look at this site after I've been demoing that's made most of those photo views. But of course, I don't have a lot. This is a demo site. It's completely locked down. It's not indexed by any search engine, so there's not a lot of people looking at this site. And within the stats tool, you have lots of tabs that you can show the type of information that you might want to find out about who's what images, what galleries are doing really well, or what images people are looking at. And of course, you can change the time frame for which you're seeing the stats displayed. Here we're looking at a month view, and then also we can look at just today or yesterday or the last 7 days, etc., etc. And then some of the tabs allow you to get a little bit more granular in that detail. So that is the stats tool. And it just gives you a little insight into some of those stats. I'll come back to some better tools further down that you might want to use. The next tab is the comments tab. This is if you have allowed people to leave comments by adding our comments content block. If you drag a content block, the comments content block onto a page or a gallery, and someone leaves your comment there, then you can see them all here within the comment section. And again, if you've marked that content block as comments needing approval, you'll see those that are waiting here. So that's all to do with comments. Again, none here. I don't use that content block on here. Share emails. This is if you have, if someone has used the share tool and sent an email sharing information with about a gallery or a folder, etc., then they will that will show up in here. Next one is just some stats about uploading. I've managed to have a really nice upload of 1,234 images uploaded to this account. Pure coincidence that it's 1,234. But yeah, uploads here just tells you how many files you've uploaded, and if you click on details, it'll tell you if there's been any errors in your uploading, or if any any image hasn't uploaded correctly. So your little upload log is there should you need it. I haven't uploaded anything recently. Now the next two are stats tools that are going to give you a lot of really great information. These next two, Google Analytics and Stat Counter, this is where you can, if you sign up for a Google Analytics tool, if you sign up for Stat Counter and register your SmugMug account with either of those tools, then if you put your ID in these boxes for Google Analytics, or put in your information, project ID and security ID for Stat Counter, then they will index the site and give you all the analytics about who's viewing your SmugMug account. And you can use those tools rather than just rely on the stats that we show here in the stats tool. So pretty self-explanatory, pretty straightforward, nothing too exciting in there, but just wanted to highlight what those features are. I don't see any questions there for those of you who are viewing live. If you want to share questions with me, do that in the chat window. I'll be more than happy to answer them as we're going along. The business tab. Now, the next down is the business tab. What you see here is going to depend on what level of SmugMug membership you have, whether you're on basic, power, portfolio, or pro. Then you're going to see different sections here, and you're on basic and power. You're not going to see the business tab at all because you can't sell any images. So we've covered some of this in previous episodes, but I'll do a basic rundown. Within the branding tab is where you can manage your watermarks. Just looking at my notes here, back in episode 89, I did a whole episode where we covered watermarks and coupons. So if you wanted to see how to use watermarks, go back to episode 89. But here in the account settings is where you can manage all the different watermarks you have. You need to be on a pro account to be able to have custom watermarks, but this is where you can manage them. Under the printing section, this is where you can manage some of the things that happen when your images are printed by our labs for our customers. The order branding tab, if we click on manage here, this is where you can enter a thank you print with your orders. We give you the specs here of how to create that thank you print. As I've mentioned in previous episodes, that a thank you print is a great way to market to your existing customers or a customer buying from you. So it's a 6x4 print, 4x6 print, depending on what part of the world you're in. So 4x6 print that once your order is printed, this thank you print gets printed and put on the top of the order and sent to your customers. So you can activate that, costs $1 per order. But it's a great way to, as I say, market. And the way I used to do this was create a thank you card. It just says something simple in it, like just wanted to say thank you. Here's 10% off your next order, and use a coupon code that I've generated in our coupon tool and put that on the thank you card. Just an open 10% coupon code that either this customer could use or they could share it with their friends and family. And it's a great way to drive extra revenue, especially from someone who is what I would call a qualified customer, someone who has demonstrated that they can find your site, like your images, know how to use e-commerce, and have bought from you. So give them an incentive to buy some more, or promote you and give you that code to other people that they know. It's free marketing. Right, the next one is a simple sticker. The sticker goes on the outside of the packaging. It's a little little rectangular sticker that, again, you have the specs here. You just design that little sticker for yourself. Once your order is printed and ready to ship, the lab will print that and stick it on the outside of the packaging. That way it looks like you've done all the work. You've printed it, packaged it, sent it to your customer, but it's obviously all fully fulfilled by our back-end system with our partner labs. So that is pro branding. Let's go back to my account settings here. Sorry, I zoomed in there. I think I mentioned previously print marks. You can add a print mark to your images, and this is where you can manage them. Print mark is the opposite of watermarking. So anything that is classed as a print mark will show on the print when someone buys it, unlike a watermark that is only there as a security feature when people are viewing your images online. Print marks are great if you do event photography for other brands who hire you to photograph a job. But whenever someone from that event buys an image, then that print mark, which is in my experience typically like the sponsor's logo or the logo of who's hosting the event, make that a print mark, and it will print on the image so that someone gets a kind of memento of that event that they were at, with the, as I say, the organizer's print mark at the bottom. Or, print mark can be anything that you want to make it. And then back printing, on the back of every print that is made, there's normally a code from a security point of view, and there's space for some extra characters where you can put in some copyright notice or something just on the back of a print. So just to be aware that there is that little opportunity on the back of a print to put a little copyright notice using back printing. And then finally, shipping here, personal delivery. This is where you can turn on personal delivery or manage your details for personal delivery. And then on an individual gallery, you can turn on personal delivery. To explain what happens typically when someone comes to your site and they buy a print, we do full fulfillment. So the order comes in, we send that order to the partner lab that you've chosen in your price list. That order is then created and shipped straight to your customer. That is full fulfillment. However, if you activate personal delivery, what happens is the print is then created at the lab and ships to you, so that you can then add some extra flourishes to the packaging, or maybe add a signature to the print itself before it goes to your customer. But obviously with personal shipping, you are responsible to get it the next step, which is from you to your customer. So only if you turn on personal delivery will the print come to you. If you do not turn on personal delivery, then it will go straight to the customer. Carter, I see your question here. I'll get to that in just a second. Boutique packaging, you can go check that out in our help pages, but it's the ability to turn on that extra flourish that we offer from our labs, where we add a little bit more pizzazz to the packaging. So a little box, a little ribbon, that type of thing. And again, you can manage that on a gallery by gallery level. Selling tools, we have covered all of these in previous episodes. So if you want to learn about making a price list, then head back to episode 75. If you want to learn about making coupons, again, episode 89, I covered watermark and coupons. Packages, I can't remember where I covered packages, but that is this packages section is where you can build packages for your price list. So you maybe want to sell a 16 by 12 print together with two 4x6 prints. So that little package that you create is added as one item, so people can buy multiple versions, multiple types of SKUs for their package. So you go and make the package, add the products you want to sell, what price you want to sell that package as, and you can do that. But again, only available for those top accounts. And then the events tool, we definitely covered that. I don't see it in my notes, but again, a great way to add, episode 87 and 88 we covered the event tool to allow you to create a specific landing page for your customers, so that your customers can go to this landing page, which we call an event. Within that event, they can see multiple galleries, so they can see all the galleries that you add to that event. Maybe if you're a wedding photographer, it's the pre-wedding shoot, it's the wedding itself. A year later, it's the first baby photos. That one event can hold multiple galleries. Or if you split an event, up into multiple galleries, so maybe you photograph the entire wedding, but you have different galleries for maybe the rehearsal, the getting ready shots, the first look, the ceremony, cocktail hour, all that type of stuff. Then maybe all those different galleries you add to an event, just so your client has that one place to go to. And of course, pick their favorites. Event tools, very important for clients to be able to pick their favorite images for you to then go and build the wedding books and that type of stuff. Right, so that's really all the tabs covered. The contacts one is really just a list of contacts that you've created, either from people that you've shared private links with, or people you've added here specifically so you can add them to private sharing links, or maybe contacts you've created from customers that have shared the details with you. So there's not too much to go into there. So I think we've covered most of the tabs over the last couple of weeks. Carter, I said I'd get back to your question. Let's see. So Carter from Frog Prince Studios, Ann Arbor. If I enable the Facebook and Twitter sharing, will that keep the watermark I've put on the image? So sharing, the sharing content block, if you add that, or if you allow the sharing feature to allow it to go to Facebook or Twitter, if you've ever shared anything yourself to Facebook, you'll be familiar that what it doesn't do, it doesn't go stick the big original image in Facebook or Twitter. What it does is it puts a tiny little thumbnail and then a link to that specific spot. So if it's an individual image, it would show the image and the link would be to that image, or if it was a gallery, it would be a link to the gallery. It's a great way to have your customers promote those images that they love without them actually, sharing too large an image. As far as the watermark goes, watermarking you can set at different sizes of your image. So you can set watermarks to show up on thumbnails, which is typically the size that will show up on social. So watermarks should work across that tab. And a caveat with sharing to Facebook and Twitter, of course, if your gallery is private. So if it's a private gallery in that you've added a password to it, or you've made it private sharing, so only specific people that you've shared it with can see it using the people I choose function, then you will not be able to share that to Facebook or Twitter, or your viewers will not be able to share that. If it's password protected, then obviously Facebook, Twitter cannot get through that password, so therefore can't show that link. So only public images can be shared to social. So I hope that answers your question. So let me know if that helps you there, Carter. Hope it does. If anybody else has questions, now would be a great time to do it. Otherwise, we're going to have a very short episode today. So we've covered all the account settings. Over the last couple of weeks, we've covered all these different account settings. We have spent weeks and months looking at all the different features from, organizing from the photo site, selling tools, creating price lists, and of course customizing the site to adding backgrounds, adding video, adding navigation menus, social icons, and of course all these different pages that we've created on the site. So refresh yourself if you can't remember any of those. If you've got questions about those, I would love to get them, especially between now and future live streams. If you have questions, leave them in a comment here. Even if it's after the live show, leave it in the comments, or reach out to me. You'll find me almost everywhere at Alastair Jolly. But if you have questions for future episodes, then please ask them, even if it's going over things we've already covered over the last however many months we've been doing this. It feels like years. But this is episode 99, so there's lots and lots of content to catch up with. Now, this being episode 99 means that this time next week, it's episode 100. My 100th episode of SmugMug Live. So we really should celebrate that. So I'm going to, hopefully between now and next week, look at some sort of greatest hits, some little snippets of some of those wonderful guests we've had over the last year. Of course, we can answer more questions next week, but I'm also going to do a giveaway. For those of you who will be joining me live next week, I'm going to give away some pro accounts on SmugMug. So if you don't have one, it's a great way to have the opportunity to get a wonderful new pro SmugMug account. Those of you who are here asking questions, you obviously got a SmugMug account, and I will credit your account for another year at the pro level, if you so wish, if you're lucky enough next week to win the giveaways. And you can only win those giveaways by joining me live at this time next week. They will not be available to anybody who doesn't join live. So those of you who are regulars here, it will be great to have you back here next week. Of course, to be notified of any future shows, then hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell notification. Bell notification is really important. That way it lets you know I'm going live, lets you know when the next episodes are coming up. And I know that's how many of you join me each week, by getting that notification on YouTube. So please turn on that notification. Let's see, Susan says, oh, I'm late. That's okay. You're welcome at any time, Susan. Had to take care of banking issues. Well, I can't help you with banking issues, other than hopefully give you some tips and tricks that helps you make more print sales. And that's a nice bank issue. Good question, Belinda. Same time next week. So 11 a.m. Pacific on the West Coast, 2 p.m. Eastern, and what time is that? 7 p.m. in the UK, 8 p.m. Central European time, and whatever else going east from there. So yeah, same time next week for the live show. Scott, thanks. I will need to go back and catch up, but thanks for all the content. Scott, you're more than welcome. It's only important. It's only works if people join me and enjoy it and get some benefit from it. So having you all here each week really makes me excited about doing these shows. 100. It's been a long year. You know, we started this as part of the kind of lockdown experiment when we were all stuck at home. We thought, well, maybe we should start live streaming like everybody else was doing in the world. So here we are, 100 shows later. We didn't think, I had no idea we'd get to 100 shows with, you know, hundreds of thousands of views, which I have to thank you all so much for the support you have all shown me and our guests over the last year. Has been an absolute thrill. And we've got some great guests still to come. I know for the last few weeks we haven't had guests on a Thursday. I typically have a guest with me on a Thursday. As the world is opening up and photographers are getting busy, then it's harder to get guests, but we will have some wonderful guests coming up over the next few weeks. We've got an interesting one on the 8th of July. We have some friends of ours from Fujifilm joining us. Myself and a small panel of Fujifilm ex-photographers will be doing a live critique on some street photography chosen from Fujifilm's Flickr group. So if you head over to Flickr, you'll find Fujifilm US have a wonderful Flickr group over there, and that is on the 8th of July. At 11 a.m. Pacific, usual time. In fact, Carmel, you just took the words right out of my mouth. When is the Flickr Street Photography review thing? Just wondering. 8th of July. 8th of July at 11 a.m. So that's a Thursday, the 8th of July. I'll be joined by 3 wonderful ex-photographers, and we're going to look at the top sort of 10 selected images from that Flickr group that's happening just now. There's a little discussion, so if you head over to Flickr there. Lois Child, apologies if I haven't pronounced that right. When using Lightroom Classic plugin and sorting galleries manually, when does the sort update when made in each direction? Let me just read that again. When using Lightroom Classic plugin, sorting galleries manually, when does the sort update when made in each direction? So if you have already created images in your SmugMug account using our Lightroom plugin, with Lightroom Classic plugin, then if you move images, if you create a collection and publish that to your SmugMug account from Lightroom, and then you go into that collection and you reorder or resort those images, then you need to mark that that gallery for republishing. So if you right click on that gallery, you should be able to mark it for republishing, then republish that gallery, and basically that then makes the sync know that there's been a change made, and therefore it should update that sync, and check that out. Our Lightroom plugin for Classic is a wonderful tool. It's why many of our pro photographers use SmugMug as the connection between Lightroom Classic and SmugMug. I covered that in episode 6, so if you haven't seen, and that was a year ago, at least, maybe even over a year ago, if you go back to episode 6, there's a whole hour-long episode of me and my colleague Aaron going through everything to do with the Lightroom plugin and all the different things you can do with it. So check that out. Tim says, thank you very much, Alastair. Always very informative and valuable tips. Much appreciated. Tim, my pleasure. And when you spell my name correctly one of these days, you get an even bigger thumbs up from me. I'm only joking. There are many ways to spell Alastair. I just use the correct one. That's all. Thanks for that, Tim. I really appreciate it. Morrow, thank you to you too. Again, come on, the name's right there. You can copy it. So I'm teasing, folks. I'm absolutely teasing. Listen, if there's any more questions, I'm happy to stick around for a few more minutes. But please join me next week for episode 100. I'm really excited. Can't believe we've got to 100 episodes. And, thank you to those of you who have been here week after week supporting me. I really appreciate it. I couldn't do this show without you. Well, I could, but there'd be no point. Well, I'd be talking to myself. So thank you to those of you who join me. If there are no further questions, there's a bit of a delay. There's about a 30-second delay from me chatting and the questions coming in. So that's why I'm just kind of biding my time to see if any more questions come in. You are welcome. Moreau says, I promise he'll get it right next time. I'm teasing. I don't care how you spell Alastair. It's nicer than some things people call me. So you're fine. Okay, folks, I'm going to wrap things up for this week. As I say, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe, give me a click on that bell notifications. Let's see, Scott's community. Does it talk about how you need to republish photos at times when I use plugin in your episode 6? Honestly, Scott, it's been that long ago, I can't remember. But yeah, republishing is very simple. If you just right click on a gallery, you'll see a drop down list of things that you can do with that gallery, and just it says mark for republishing is one of them. Okay, thank you so much. Hey James, good to see you in there. Yeah, evening time here in Scotland, although it's as bright as it's been all day. It's that wonderful time of year when we have almost full sun in this part of the world all day long, which is a blessing and a curse at the same time. But yeah, wherever you are in the world, wherever you are joining me today, as always, stay safe, be kind, look after each other, and we'll see you back here for another episode of SmugMug Live very, very soon. Have a great week, everybody. Bye. Bye.